What's good, my Read for the Culture friends and family? Thanks again for joining me as I read a special series of international children's stories brought to you by the Dubai UAE Expo 2020 School Program. At Read for the Culture, we celebrate, appreciate, and patronize our authors and illustrators by adding their stories to our at-home libraries. Please visit the description box for a link to your free copy of the Expo 2020 Children's Tales from Around the World. Now that you have your story, find a cozy spot to read and your Read for the Culture passport, because this story takes our imagination to Portugal, a country located in southwestern Europe. Ready to take off? Okay, explorers, let's get reading. The Legend of the Stone Soup, a humble gastronomic tale about sharing. Illustrated by Mariana Matos. This is a story of how the greatest wealth comes from the sharing of resources. According to the people of Amidam, a poor friar who was on a pilgrimage stopped in a village and knocked on the door of a house. As luck would have it, there were people home. Far too proud to beg for a bite to eat, he instead asked the man behind the door if he could borrow a large pot in which to make a delicious and filling sopa de pedra, stone soup. Stone soup? How on earth could stone soup be appetizing? Wondered the man. With arched eyebrows and curious glances, the man and his family invited him into their home and filled up a large pot with water to set over flickering flames. Slowly walking up to the iron-clad cauldron, the friar reached into his deep pocket and produced a smooth stone that he had found on the ground earlier. He made sure to clean it well before dropping it into the boiling water. A little while later, he tasted the soup and said it needed a touch of seasoning. So, the generous man's wife brought him some salt to add. "Why, thank you," the friar said. "However, perhaps a little bit of chorizo, sausage, would be better. What do you think?" Graciously, she obliged and dropped several thick slices into the pot. The friar had a taste and smiled. "Now, that certainly tastes better. However, perhaps we could add some more ingredients to make it more delicious and filling. Would you happen to have any vegetables left over from an earlier meal? Say cabbage perhaps, or beans or potatoes?" With a broad smile, she agreed and added a healthy portion of leftovers into the bubbling water. The soup sizzled and a mouth-watering aroma filled the air. The banter continued back and forth between the family and the friar before he finally announced that the soup was ready. When the soup was done, the friar fished the stone out of the pot, washed and dried it off, and plopped it back into his pocket for the next time. He let the man and his family try the soup. The family was amazed and grateful that they had let the friar into their home. If they hadn't trusted his abilities in making the stone soup, they would never have enjoyed the best meal of their lives. Yet, the friar believed that if he hadn't shared his soup with others, it wouldn't have tasted nearly as good. After all, the food you prepare tastes only as good as the love you put in it. What do you think? There is an old proverb that says too many cooks spoil the broth. What do you think it means? Does it apply in this story? Storytime Extra. Did you know? This story is told across Europe and has many origins and versions. The main character or ingredient of the soup may change from one version to the next. For example, in some versions, the main character may be a soldier or a lone traveler, instead of a fryer. The key ingredient may be a button or a piece of wood instead of a stone. When was the last time you shared a meal with someone? How did it make you feel? Well, my Read for the Culture friends and family, I certainly hope you enjoyed that story just as much as I did. Go ahead and grab your Read for the Culture passport. Together we can color in Portugal on the world map. Also, remember to download your free The Legend of the Stone Soup, a humble gastronomic tale about sharing Visa by clicking the link in the description box. At Read for the Culture, we enjoy reading inspiring, uplifting, multicultural stories for the entire family to enjoy. Hit the notification bell in order to be notified about the next episode from Expo 2020 Children's Tales from Around the World.